What would you do if I gave you $10,000 to build the quickest drag car possible in only 10 days? 4 teams, 1 race, 1 winner.
We don't do anything good, we just kind of do everything half-assed. This is the first thing he's done all week.
I want a beer.
I told you I was right. I don't think I hit the right button.
The experience of last year has helped me look at things from a little bit different perspective.
There's so much shit happening right now. I did it to accomplish slide, so then I backed on.
That's pretty stout.
It made 11 horsepower.
We're not here for a long time. We're only here for a good time.
Last season, 4 teams did battle, and it was survival of the fittest. At the race, Lyle Barnett drove Team Biggins' beer money into the winner's circle, and the Dream Team's turbocharged Ford Mustang came up short. Controversy exploded during the race, with accusations of cheating boiling over into the internet. Big Daddy and Lyle were at each other's throats, and Dwayne's reaction time became a hot topic. The rules for Horsepower Wars' $10,000 shootout are simple. Each team gets $3,000 in cash and $7,000 in Summit Racing gift cards to build a drag racing car. And they only have 10 days to do it. All parts will be overnighted by Summit Racing at no charge directly to the shop. The teams will collide at Donald Long's No Mercy 10, held at South Georgia Motorsports Park in late October, where the 4 teams will battle for $10,000 and to see who keeps their car. Horsepower Wars Tech Director Lonnie Grimm will have a close eye on all the parts coming in and out.
Your parts go through me.
This year, all used parts bought by the teams will go through a much more rigorous tech inspection to determine their fair market value. No more buddy hookups or unreasonable discounts are making it through this year. 3 new teams are here to compete, with the return of Team Biggin to defend their title.
All right, gentlemen, welcome to the $10,000 drag shootout of Horsepower Wars. I see some new faces, and I see some old faces.
We are returning champs from last year's inaugural 2018 Horsepower Wars. We're coming in swinging. We've got same team as we had last year. Awesome team. Pete Harold is our engine builder tuner. Lyle Barnett, driver, and trash talker.
We absolutely destroyed everybody that was here last year.
Chad Reynolds, he was a coach last year, and now he's a participant to help us through the whole build.
Back with Team Biggin for year number 2 to defend our title.
Chris Bailey, fabricator with me, and Jason Smith, our accountant.
Lyle, I want to know what you guys have been doing with beer money and your grand prize of $10,000 from last year.
We've been racing the shit out of that thing, man. It's been a lot of fun. We've made a couple small changes, but for the most part, the car is as it was when it left this shop.
And I see Jesse Adams is returning for the Comp-Cam's Dream Team. That is awesome.
A new Comp-Cam's Dream Team with team leader Dave Henninger.
David Henninger for the Dream Team, Comp-Cam's Dream Team.
I was in radial racing for, 5-6 years, 3 world championships back to back to back. Got out of racing 2-3 years ago. Here I am again.
My name's Jim Stike. I'm on the Dream Team from Comp-Cams.
The experience of last year has helped me look at things from a little bit different perspective.
I just love building stuff. I don't care about owning the car or being the fastest. To me, the whole process of just designing a car, building it and fabricating it is what turns me on. And if I could just do that for the rest of my life, I gotta be fired up.
And there's a couple new teams. We have Joe Hunt with Midwest Mayhem.
Midwest Mayhem.
Midwest Mayhem, we're just all a bunch of regular guys that, work regular 8 to 5 jobs and then work on race cars after hours and have become good at it over the years. My name's Joe Hunt. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska area. We have the driver Joey Heichel. Next we have Josh Walton, also from Omaha, Nebraska. Does a lot of drag week stuff. Then Chad Fagley is from Lincoln, Nebraska. He owns the Shop Inc. Builds a lot of really badass street cars at Lincoln, Nebraska. Brad Vasco's from Kansas City, Missouri. Vasco Speed Performance. He's a fabricator, turbo kit builder. We race every single weekend, whether it's the track or the street, or we travel 40, 50,000 miles a year racing.
And Jamie Farmer with Enemies Everywhere.
Jamie Farmer and his team traveled thousands of miles across the Pacific, all the way from Australia.
And my name's Jamie Farmer from Toowoomba in Australia. Kev Morton, his school's a fabrication. He's at the drag strip every weekend. Then we've got Robbie Abbott, who's known for building some of the fastest street cars in Australia. Then we've got Steve Metcalf. He works at Enemies Everywhere, which is our company back in Queensland. We've got Nathan Clark. He's probably one of the funniest guys in the team. Who else we got? Shit. Embarrassing, isn't it? Me, Kevy, Robbie, Metters, Nathan, and Ross. That's 6. So I got it all.
After the teams were introduced, it was time to head to dinner and let the crap talking commence.
You can look at this any way you want to, but you're not going to own that car after the race.
10-1 odds.
I go over and sit down with the Midwest Mayhem guys at the pizza party. We're bullshitting, you know, and talking back and forth, and they start bringing up going to bed.
Race after the race, $1?
Race after the race, you're not going to have the car anymore.
I'm known in the heat of the moment, especially after I've drank a few cervezas, to kind of speak beyond the bills that my wallet contains.
I've got $1,000 in that I win. If I do not win, that's $2,000.
Yep. You got 1,000 with them, 1,000 with us.
That's a bet. That's a goddamn bet.
That's a good bet for us, because that's all the stipulation is, just that they don't win. So that means we have 3-1 odds. You know, we don't necessarily have to win, they just can't.
Shake all the way around. Stick your f***ing hand out. Your boy Smokey Aborigines, motherfucker. I take indigenous money too.
All right, I'm sure you're all jonesing to get working on your cars. We got to get to car selection in the 10K Olympics, so now I'm going to hand you out your $3,000 in cold hard cash and your $7,000 in summer bucks.
Thanks, sir.
I can't let Keith get this money.
Joe? Jamie? The last of the cash? The last card?
Out of the $3,000 each team has for a cash budget, they're allocated $500 on buying one of the 4 pre-selected junkers that Horsepower Wars purchased for the competition. The teams will compete in the 10K Olympics, pushing themselves to the limit for the opportunity to get first pick of the cars they will build.
And the first car that I'm going to show you guys is a 4th generation Chevy Camaro.
The 1998 Chevrolet Camaro is built on the 4th Gen F-Body platform, a proven drag car. It may be difficult for a team to fit a big block under the hood without some serious modifications.
The Camaros are really difficult to work on. Everything's really tight and compact. They're heavy.
We were not interested in the F-Body in any way, shape, or form, and I'm a Camaro guy.
It has the potential to be a super fast car. There is just so much work. The engine's so far deep in the car itself, so it's hard to work on, hard to get the engine out, like all that sort of stuff.
I want to show you the second car on the list, and it is a Mustang.
The new Edge Mustang. The V6 in the engine bay and the T5 transmission will make great boat anchors. With a factory 4-link suspension and the massive aftermarket support, make the 2002 Ford Mustang a top choice.
So that's the gravy train, because they have such a good factory suspension, easy to make lightweight. It's the most streamlined process to making a efficient drag car.
No. Nah, not for us.
No. Yeah, that shit's junk. Take that right in the trash can. Oh my God. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry builds a Mustang.
All right, the third vehicle on the docket is a Chevrolet S10. And I have a feeling this is a favorite for quite a few of you guys for a number of different reasons.
We expect teams to covet this compact 1984 Chevrolet S10 pickup. These trucks are popular for drag racing because they're rear-wheel drive and lightweight. The engine and trans are already pulled, which will save some time during the build.
Yeah, I want it.
That's it.
Let's do it. Sign me up.
Where do we sign?
So half the guys in my team wanted the S10 because we've got a car in Australia called a Holden Rodeo. ute, and that's what the S10 is.
The downfall to us is that's, you know, a leaf spring rear suspension system. A lot of teams are really familiar with, especially Lyle, are one of the reasons why they wanted to get a hold of that thing.
But when we figured out there were some people that wanted the S10, we were like, not gonna happen, we gotta win this deal so we can get it.
And it's time to reveal the fourth vehicle. It is a G-Body Cutlass.
Only a mother could love the front end of this 1979 Oldsmobile Cutlass. It's equipped with a small block V8, an automatic transmission, and a 4-link in the back from the factory. The suspension is a solid design, and the transmission could handle some power if it's built.
God, that G-Body's ugliness kind of made us want it.
It was rough. No paint. It's all primered and covered in Bondo. There's a hole in the roof.
There's no doubt this car could be quick. But there's one more car the teams don't get to check out, and this one's gonna be a massive surprise.
I'm the producer of the $10,000 drag shootout, and last year, Team Biggin, well, they won with their Fox Body Mustang. But this year, we want to make it a little harder for them, so we're gonna give them another Fox Body, this 1982 Granada station wagon. Now, obviously, this is a major disadvantage to them in their build. So the guys at K&N, well, we wanted to make sure we give them the most airflow as possible. So Bert, what'd you bring us?
So what I brought is one of our carbon fiber hood scoops that we make. We designed this with the Pro Stock guys in mind, so we wanted to make sure that we had a scoop that was going to work for these guys' applications. We wanted to make sure the scoop that we made was going to be light enough for them to use.
We really can't be cutting a hole in it today, so what do you think we should do?
Well, I brought some magical tape that'll be able to hold this in place so they get an idea on what they're going to have to work with. We've had these scoops on cars that made 1,000, 1,500 horsepower, so whatever type of power they make, this scoop's going to handle it.
Okay, so this is totally ridiculous. We have this massive air scoop on this 1982 Granada station wagon.
The scoop looks cool. It's going to flow the air these guys need. I think they're going to be happy.
Oh my gosh, Team Biggin's going to love this. So hey, thanks for coming out. Thanks for bringing this awesome hood scoop. I think we have a few more things though we're going to do to this wagon.
Even though Team Biggin was going to be forced into the Granada, we decided to let them compete in the 10K Olympics. And after the cars are chosen, then we'll surprise Biggin with the Granada.
Now that you guys have seen the cars, it's time to compete to see which team is going to end up building which car. And I'm going to warn you, there's going to be some certain twists and turns in the 10K Olympics, which we're going to start right now.
This year, a brand new set of games was created for the 10K Olympics. There will be 5 challenges that teams will face. First, the Summit Racing Delivery Challenge. They will enter the Summit Racing warehouse and find 3 overnight orders to pack for delivery. Using the 3 Summit orders on the table, they'll pack the boxes exactly as the orders are laid out. Once their boxes are packaged and secure, they'll have to put on the shipping labels to the correct 3 destinations. Then they must deliver their 3 boxes to the next challenge. But if anything is dropped or mispackaged, there's a brutal penalty. When the packages are finished, next up is the Total Seal K&N Ring Toss Challenge. The 3 large hula hoops represent 3 Total Seal piston rings. Throw each piston ring over the stack of K&N oil filters while standing behind the throwing lines. You have to complete 3 rings in order to advance. The ARP Bolt Matching Challenge is a true test of a top mechanic. Grabbing one ARP bolt at a time, 2 team members have to find the right size and pitch bolts and thread them into the nuts that are welded to the plates. They got to do it as quickly as possible, and team members cannot work together, and you can only work with 1 bolt at a time. From there, the driver pedals in a tiny, dangerous bicycle to a room to get a little surprise. Big Daddy Dwayne Guttridge, the driver of the Dream Team from Season 1, is waiting to face off against each team's driver on a practice tree. Big Daddy is confident he's going to cut a better light this time.
It's showtime. I always got the minute for the camera.
Once the driver has 3 wins on the tree, he'll pedal the bicycle to the beautiful 1979 Cutlass outside. Each team must push the G-Body from the start line to the finish line and back. The driver has to pedal to the finish line and smack a VP Racing Fuel drum to stop the clock. Their car choice could make or break a team over the next 10 days, so everyone is laser focused on taking the win.
This is a high pressure, it's high intensity, it's wide open. You'll see a lot of clashing, you'll see people pissed off at each other.
First up, Team Biggin.
1, go!
You know, the Olympics this year were way different than last year, and I have to say they were awesome.
It was kind of more of a strategy game. You had to be careful who you put where. Jason Smith, the packaging and shipping department, so he was on that. I'm a pretty good cornhole player, so the ring toss was a good one for me. Pete and Biggin can tell bolt size from here to the other side of Temecula.
So far, Team Biggin's been doing pretty well, but Lyle has no idea what's waiting for him at the next challenge.
I'm back. Ha! I cut way more better lights, more than I don't cut a good light.
Dwayne just got the first win on the tree against Lyle. Dwayne is definitely making Lyle work for the win here. Lyle just needs to cut one more light to move on to the next challenge.
3 wins, you're out.
They may have lost a little bit of time in the reaction time shootout, but Team Biggin could make it up right here.
We were hauling the mail, man. We pushed the car fast.
Go!
I've got the ass for pushing a car, so we definitely had that set.
Team Biggin delivered one of the Summit Racing packages to the wrong location, resulting in a 90-second penalty added to their overall time. Next up, enemies everywhere.
We knew about the Olympics and stuff like that, but really didn't know what, we had no idea what the challenges itself were.
Ross is very good at what he does, which is tuning and building engines, building cars, but ring tossing's not his forte.
Steve got the packages together, but Ross has taken a little more time on the Total Seal Ring Toss Challenge. Hopefully Robbie and Kevin can make up the time with the ARP Bolt Challenge.
He's a pretty big dude, and to pedal that bike like he did really, really well.
Red light, game stops for 30 seconds starting now.
Jamie red lighting. That was hard. The car pushing thing, I think we nailed that.
Hopefully this helps them pick up some ground they lost earlier.
You guys got some legs. Need to work on my cardio.
We found package number 1 delivered to wrong location, so that was 1 penalty. Location number 2, it also was in the wrong location, so it received an additional penalty.
Time-wise, we weren't too bad, but yeah, we just got a lot of penalties.
We moved to what we call the lunchroom package. The location was correct, and then we check into the contents, and the contents were wrong, so therefore an added penalty. So enemies everywhere received 3 penalties for a total of 90 seconds each, which is 4.5 minutes added to their total time.
Now it's time for the Comp Cam's Dream Team. With Jim Sykes on the ring toss, the Dream Team is keeping up the pace. Don and Jesse need to get the ARP bolts matched and threaded as fast as possible before Keith can move on to the reaction time shootout.
You remember the cartoon, was it Magilla Gorilla or something, like this big ape on a little bitty tricycle? That's what it's like.
To make sure Dwayne didn't give the Dream Team an advantage, we had Scott Parker, Director of Content for Horsepower Wars, step in and keep Keith on his toes. Looks like Keith needs to practice a little more on the tree if the Dream Team's gonna stand a chance once we get to the race. After struggling with his reaction times, Keith forgot to pull the cutlass out of park, costing the team valuable time. These guys might have lost all the time they picked up earlier in the 10K Olympics. Keith needs to get back to the shop as fast as possible if these guys want to stand a chance at winning. The Dream Team delivered 2 Summit Racing boxes to the wrong location, resulting in 2 90-second penalties, a total of 3 minutes added to their overall time. And last but not least, Midwest Mayhem. Looks like Joe is crushing the Summit Racing packaging portion of the Olympics. Hopefully all the parts in the boxes match up.
More of a head game. I was pretty nervous, messed up a bunch, and I was just nervous.
They need to make up some time if they want to come out on top. Joey is focused on the tree, cutting quick lights, resulting in 3 wins quicker than any other team.
From being younger, obviously there was a physical advantage, you know, with some challenges that have that kind of aspect to them.
Now these guys need to kick it into high gear and get this cutlass across the parking lot and back. The team with the fastest time wins, but penalties add to the overall time if any team member falters.
Team Midwest Mayhem actually had a faster time than Team Biggin by more than a minute, but they forgot to pack these hoses and they forgot to put the invoices in the boxes. And that means we have to give them 3 90-second penalties, which puts them way up here. Who knows where they're gonna end up?
4 minutes, 30 seconds penalty. That was my fault.
It was so specific on the rules that it made it a lot more of a challenge, I think, for some of these guys.
Now that the Olympics are done, it's time to see what team had the fastest time.
All right, guys, you are all finished. You did a great job, but right here in my hand, I have the final times for each team, and it's gonna determine how you guys pick your cars first, second, third, and fourth. With a final time of 17 minutes and 34 seconds, there's enemies everywhere.
We give you that one.
In third place with a time of 13 minutes and 55 seconds is Midwest Mayhem.
That was all me. That was completely my mess up.
That's $500.
There it is.
No excuses. Just wanted to be known that Midwest Mayhem pays their bets.
All right, but okay, this is the big deal right here, okay?
All right.
Second, with a time of 13 minutes and 30 seconds. That's us, that's the Dream Team, baby! Yeah! We got
We don't know.
13 minutes, 30 seconds. It is a tie.
There had to be 2 stopwatches. You can't do that. There's no way.
It's rounded to the second. That is the reason. So now we go to sudden death. The drivers from each team are going to go back onto the Christmas tree. Best 3 wins.
Our thoughts on coming up as a tie and the sudden death was that we weren't worried about winning it. I mean, Lyle's killer on the tree and Keith Berry as well. Keith Berry.
Since Team Biggin and the Dream Team tied in the Olympics, Keith Berry and Lyle Barnett are going to face off on the practice tree. The first driver to get 3 wins will be the official winner of the 10K Olympics. Lyle gets the first win, putting them ahead of the Dream Team 1-0.
He tore me up because I came in, I'm on adrenaline, like I'm hopped up, and I'm like, oh shit.
I was a little hesitant with Keith. Here's this chicken feet processor guy, right? That I know a lot about. He's been a world champion, but he hasn't raced in a while.
Hey, Keith, you don't actually have to scoot your chair into the beams, dude. You just twist the button.
God.
Well, that's what he was doing.
Looks like Keith is coming into his own. Now the teams are tied at 1 win apiece. That makes 2 wins for Team Biggin. They only need 1 more to win the 10K Olympics.
honestly, I was as pumped up this year to win as I was last year. Like, to come down to a tie and have to go in there and battle it out with Keith on the practice tree, that shit was cool.
I think Keith had a little bit of a night the night before. He was sleeping in the Camaro. Come race day, Keith will be ready.
All right, we know the order of which each team did in the Olympics, and number 1 is Team Biggin. Yeah! Well done.
For the second year in a row, we win the initial challenge and get first pick of the cars.
Which car are you picking?
That badass S10.
No! What the
We picked the S10. It's what we've been planning on getting all along.
Dream Team, which car are you picking?
The Mustang.
The Mustang.
Oh, it's got the best paint.
We've got a 02 Mustang. We wanted the S10. That was the vehicle we wanted.
Number 3, Midwest Mayhem. Which vehicle are you picking? Sweet Cutlass down there. The G-Body? Take that.
I normally like ugly cars and things that are different and stuff like that, but that I can honestly say that is one that just did not appeal to me.
I think it's going to be really wicked looking when it's done.
Enemies everywhere. Ended up with the F-Body.
We're going to be busy for the next 10 days.
That's for sure.
It's got good weight distribution, it's good overhang over the front. The only issue was we knew it was always going to be a bit of work getting the motor under the windshield, which is not a big deal, and changing the whole rear end.
Yo, Chad, I got a wagon for you.
And then here came stupid Dwayne driving the wagon.
You guys had a huge advantage. You're returning champions. We had to throw one twist your way. That is the vehicle you will be building.
They are throwing twists at us around every corner.
Us getting the wagon completely derailed our plans and has added complexity and problems to our situation.
He just sunk.
Well, there's only one thing left to do.
Burnout. Get in it, let's go.
Burnout.
That's a lot of smoke.
Very average. It's a beginner's type burnout.
The 10K Olympics are done and the teams have picked their cars. They're all in the shop and they're starting to work on them. We have a ton of awesome sponsors that are helping all these teams out with some really great parts to help them make a bunch of horsepower. Summit also gave them a ton of safety equipment to make sure when they go down the track at 140 miles per hour in the 8th mile, they can do it safely. But for now, let's get to the teardown. Next time on the $10,000 Drag Shootout.
The budget is changing daily, if not hourly.
The $2,500 cash is not that much.
We're down to hundreds of dollars now. If we can't get parts when we're supposed to get parts, then we won't be able to finish.
I want to ask you guys a question about your motor. Brand spanking new, main bearings, rod bearing, fresh assembly lube.
Say if I told you, okay, we cheated. Now, if I talk to you about it, can you tell anybody else?
There's never been a homicide in this shop, according to Dean. There's about to be one.
I would give that burnout a 9.8 out of 10. It's pretty solid, but it was only one tire.
2 tires, a solid 10.
A solid 10. I would give it a
one
solid
tire, 9.8.
9.8.
I'm good with that.
You good with that?
Yeah.